Michelle Litjens?
I believe the president really needs to call it what it is, and they are radical Islamists. My goodness, they call themselves the Islamic State.
Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani is in some hot water today after questioning whether President Obama loves America. Michelle Litjens, what do you think of what the former New York City mayor had to say?
I completely agree with the former mayor. I think he's right on target. I'm proud of him for not rescinding everything that he said because he's pretty darn accurate. You know, when President Obama was first elected, he went on a world apology tour to apologize for the United States' actions in foreign countries. What kind of president does that? You don't hear President Obama talking about how wonderful and how generous the United States of America is to the rest of the world. You hear him criticize us openly and publicly often. I think Americans want to hear that our president loves this country and he wants to see this country flourish. And although we might have some blemishes, we might do wrong from time to time, and it's fine to acknowledge those, but we shouldn't be parading around the world apologizing for American generosity.
Ruth Conniff?
I mean, this is the Fox News parallel reality where, you know, Obama is not born in this country, or if he was born in this country, he's not patriotic. And it's toxic. It's ugly. It's, you know, at bottom, I think, driven largely by a desire to appeal to racism, resentment of Obama. I mean, it's not, as Michelle said, not just a Democrat-Republican thing. I think there's something particular about Obama that drives right-wingers nuts. And, you know, it's really, especially as we're talking about religious bigotry and the potential for scapegoating people in our country, some of whom aren't even Muslim, but they just look Middle Eastern. You know, it is really dangerous and really toxic to stir the pot like that. And, you know, Obama is trying to speak to people's better nature. He's trying to do something constructive here. And it's really the only solution. The rhetoric, that drumbeat, the culture war rhetoric, the war on Islam rhetoric, and then, you know, this attack on the president himself, the lack of respect for the office of the presidency and for the president by this right-wing echo chamber, I think has cast such a pall on this country. And it's ironic that the folks who are peddling that call themselves patriots or talk about love of country, because in fact what it's doing is tearing us down and tearing us apart. And it's really, it's a driver of the kind of cynicism that the caller a few minutes ago talked about, that sense that, you know, we can't stand to listen to these people. It's a pox on all of them.
We need a leader that is not apologizing for our country around the world. I hope the president is listening to people out there saying we need a positive leader. We don't want to hear about all of our blemishes from the past anymore. What's done is done. We need to move forward, and we need someone who is going to encourage us to continue to be a country of excellence.
You know, we had 8 years of jingoism and America Firstism and war with the rest of the world. We had, you know, the disaster in Iraq. We had Guantanamo. We had the black eye our country got, the revelations of torture. And when Obama was elected, the cheer that went up in the crowd when Bush and Cheney left in their helicopter was indicative of how the American public felt. And when he went around the world talking about having a different vision of what American leadership really meant, not jingoism, not endless, fruitless war, not torture, people were embraced that. People were inspired by it. So, you know, it's depressing to hear this litany against Obama. But again, I mean, I just feel like this is the politics of the right. This is this ceaseless negativity and bashing. And it's, you know, it's got a constituency, and Walker's appealing to it, so we're going to hear more of it in the lead up to 2016. But it does not accurately reflect how Americans feel.